Hello everybody, Meso here for another update on Christian Faber's hashtag Biovival project and the ongoing community discussions surrounding it. I am not a concise person. I like to ramble, as evidenced by my last video being a 40-minute rant, but today I'm going to try to be quicker, to the point, and more concise, although I still do not script my videos, so you'll forgive me if I stumble a few times here and there. I'm making this video simply to give everyone an update on the reception to my last video and the constructive follow-up that might be in the process of happening. So, basically, after the last video was released, it got a few thousand views, people are discussing it. Of course, some people agree with me, some people disagree with me, that's totally fine. At the end of the day, Faber's project and his posts, they bring about a wealth of diverse opinions, and I would really expect nothing less. My point making the video is never to get everyone to agree with me, simply to express my opinion as a fan. Because I have strong opinions on the project, and I want it to be successful, and I want Christian Faber to be successful in what he's doing, and I want to help in any way I can, and if that means giving feedback when I see concerning things, then that's what I'm going to do, because that's what is in my power to do. Ultimately, I feel that if you're a public figure who puts out public posts, as Christian Faber is and does, with the intent to stir up public discourse, then you are entitled to both public praise and public scrutiny. I've seen people respond alleging that there has been undue harassment leveraged towards Christian Faber, that we're being too cruel to him, that we're being unkind. And while I will admit that a few of the things I said were said, in a heated temperament, I stand by the message expressed in them. I think the important thing to realize about my last video, where I got a little angry and I got a little heated, is that if I have interpreted the posts, and in particular the comment exchange in the last video, in that manner, I guarantee I'm not alone. And the overwhelming response on the video has showed me, yes, I am not alone. So that in and of itself is a problem worth discussing, Ultimately, I have great respect for Faber as a creator and as a man, but I don't believe he's exempt from criticism. And that's all it is. It's criticism. It's constructive criticism. I'm presenting, an alternative that could be better, not simply hating for hate's sake. And ultimately, I do not hate the man nor his project. I still am more than willing to give it a fair shot whenever it comes out and give it a fair appraisal. I just believe that there is room for criticism of how it's been handled so far, and that is all it is. If I ever make a video saying that, there should be targeted harassment of Faber or anything of that sort, or, you campaign against him to call him out for false advertising and ruin his reputation, then maybe we could talk about, harassment. But I do not believe anything I've done qualifies as that, nor will you ever catch me doing or encouraging such a thing. The man's responsible for a lot of the things that we enjoy in Bionicle, and I think he does deserve a certain degree of respect. But that does not mean that he is immune from criticism, and I hope that that is known, both to the fans who comment and to him, who actually watched the last video and commented on it. Which, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for watching it. It does mean a lot. It's not the first video that he's watched. He actually watched one way back when called Christian Faber's Bionicle G3 and the Danger of Hype Culture, which will be relevant in a minute. But it is always humbling to see that he checked it out. And, he had this to say. Hey TTV, please relax, don't be mad. Yes, I am Danish and not an AI fortune cookie. I'm not blaming fans. I would really like to give an interview, and I'm stepping up more now than ever. I'm balancing on the narrow path between fans and big international companies. I'm in awe of all the fan work done in the fan community and want to create something that could take this creativity and collaboration to the next level. This will happen, but it won't be a duplicate of the past. Please contact me for that interview again. I responded with, hey Mr. Faber, thank you for reaching out to us. We're still very interested in speaking with you about this project and would love the opportunity to sit down for an interview. We've emailed you about scheduling and look forward to hearing back soon. Thank you. And of course, just like I said there, Faber actually emailed us privately to the TTV channel, basically echoing the same sentiment that he would like to have a sit-down talk about this project. We, of course, on the same day, replied, and we gave him a potential schedule, availability days, etc. And as of now, that's where it stands. We've not yet heard back, but of course we'll update you when there is an interview scheduled. Just wanted to make this video to essentially let you guys know Christian Faber has reached out. He's offered to talk to us. I, of course, am more than willing. I would love the opportunity to talk to him and get some clarity and hash all this out, because ultimately I have both the community and the best interests of his project in mind as well, both his project and the community's. I don't want people hurt, and I want him to be successful in whatever he's doing. So I think we can have a productive talk, and I look forward to his reply. What I find interesting, though not unsurprising, are some of the replies to him. There's some good ones that range from, we support you, Mr. Faber, whatever you do. Some people are like, I'm really interested in seeing this interview, this is cool. And then some people, one particular person, who I won't name, one notable comment of theirs was, the only reason conversation has gotten to this point is because TTV has jumped on a guy they haven't spoken to and accused him of blaming the fans when he hasn't, making these videos that clearly discredit the creator of Bionicle because he won't tell us everything on his brain and posts teases at a possible G3. It's bad practice, especially compared to their interviews and coverage of other former Bionicle contributors. Well, I'd just like to refresh people on the fact that this is not the first time I've made a video of this sort. This is not the first time Christian Faber has replied to a video of this sort. Way back when, let me get the exact date. April 18th, 2019, I made a video called Christian Faber's Bionicle G3 and the Danger of Hype Culture. And the TLDR of that video is I essentially advised people not to get their hopes up about this being any particular vision for Bionicle, because we didn't know enough about it at that stage. So please temper your expectations. Don't set up lofty goals that Faber can't meet, like I hope this to be a direct continuation of G1 on Spherus Magna telling the story of the story serials. Crazy stuff like that. And Mr. Faber replied to that video, and he said the following. Dear TTV, thanks again for this second very thought-provoking video about 14B 2020. I would love to come on your show and explain my plan and strategy. I would prefer to do this after some meetings in the coming month where I'm pitching the project. Just so you know, all the inputs and comments will be brought to use in this initial phase, and I will try to display all the twists and turns that goes into creating something like this. This is an adventure in itself. This is pure world building, and no single person can make it wide and deep enough. On another note, I want to say that Bionicle has a very important role to play in these years approaching AI and intelligent machines. It goes beyond product and earnings. What are we going to put into the heads of these machines? What will be their moral foundation? Hopefully not greed and ROI. We're the great beings giving them artificial life and sending them into the future. Who knows where they'll go? And I, of course, replied to that and said, thank you very much for your reply and for watching the video, Mr. Faber. Having you on the show to talk about this project would be an honor. We sincerely hope your pitch meetings go well, and we'll message you again regarding scheduling near the end of May. Which we did. Mr. Faber did not reply. I won't ascribe intent there. Any number of things could have happened. He could have just gotten busy. But the fact of the matter is that we are very interested in talking to him. I would much prefer to have a constructive conversation with the man, to get to the heart of this issue, to give him a platform to help spread the word about this, and to hopefully get some answers to some questions that people have, clear up misunderstandings, and generally clear the air, because I want him to be successful in whatever he's doing. He has reached out before, and now. We've followed in kind. As of the time of this video, I'm still waiting on scheduling that, but I'm confident it will happen. So I do take a bit of umbrage with the notion that the only reason there is a negative discourse is because TTV has jumped on a guy they haven't even spoken to. Contrary to what some individuals might claim, we at TTV do not feel like we are entitled to be given interviews or special treatment by people who worked on Bionicle. or notable figures in the Bionicle or Lego community. We'll, of course, talk to them if the opportunity arises, and we love the experience, but we don't assume that our voices or our opinions have any more merit or value than anybody else's out there. I want to make that very clear. I'm just a guy like all of you. You guys just watch me for some reason, and I greatly appreciate that. So I must ask you, if someone reaches out, offers an interview, we of course will take it, because we would love the opportunity to talk to the individual directly. But in the case of Faber, who, for whatever reason, that hasn't materialized as of yet, or at least it didn't in the last 2 years, does that mean that I and others am no longer allowed to talk about them? Once again, they're public figures doing public things publicly. I don't feel like it's a stretch to take that to the next level and say, well, they merit public scrutiny, or at the very least, public discussion, which isn't always positive, isn't always negative. It's usually a mix of the two. So I fail to see what the problem is exactly. At the very least, you could say, well, maybe you shouldn't have made a rant video when you were annoyed, which is fair. You got to have that opinion, but I titled the video accordingly so people knew what kind of content they were getting. And I do stand by what I said in that video. Obviously, I can never 100% know intention. All I can do as a person is talk to you guys about how it seems like to me. And if ever, I'm proven to be wrong about that, I am, of course, more than able and willing to admit my mistakes. But all I can go off of is the information I know at this present moment and draw my own conclusions. So, just keep that in mind. I'm just like any of you. I don't know any more than you do. I'm just trying to figure it out, putting things together one piece at a time. And I think Christian Faber knows this because the man does invite discussion of the things that he does. He just released a TED Talk, which is very interesting and insightful. I'll link it in the description below. He's working on a number of ongoing projects, posting about them publicly, generating hype for hashtag Biovival, whatever it is. I think it's perfectly reasonable and fair to discuss, critique, give criticism in the public sphere. For those of you who don't want to see it, you don't have to watch it. For those of you who just want to go with the flow on whatever Faber does, by all means, feel free to do that. Any advice I've given in the past about cautioning expectation is for your benefit, not mine. I have no expectations, so I'm not going to be disappointed one way or another by whatever it turns out to be. If you want to go for the ride, by all means, but when you come to our channel and our content, please remember, this is an opinion channel, this is a commentary channel, this is a discussion channel. Our core content are podcasts, for God's sake. And discussion inherently is rarely unilaterally positive or unilaterally negative. It's usually a mix of both. So, you guys don't have to consume it, but I would always love to hear different points of view from those of you who are willing to have a conversation about it. And there have been lots of people who have been willing to have that conversation in constructive, positive ways. Only a few who have not. And who prescribe malintent and who misrepresent me and the things that I say. When, as far as I'm concerned, I've been fairly clear with where I stand on the matter from word go. So that's basically all. I, of course, would love to hear you guys' thoughts. If you support Faber, if you don't support Faber, if you're curious what Faber has to share, if you're curious about what 14B 2020 hashtag Biovival is going to be, anything in the comments section below. Also, one quick footnote before I go. It was brought to my attention that the Onyo image that I briefly joked about for about a minute in the last video, maybe a minute and a half, was actually ONIC. Because if you look very carefully, it is not an O. It is a C, but with a grayed out background. Why Christian Faber would post an image of the Bionicle logo with the O and the C larger, I don't know. But there you go. Just to address on the record, I was wrong. It was not Onyo. Instead, it is Onik. And I remain just as confused as I was in the last video. So there you go. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Farewell.